all you colorful sprinkles, it's me, Willow, and I am at Thrifty Pickins and Buckies. It's in West Salem, Wisconsin, and I want to check it out. So let's see what they have in the store. My first impression of the store is this building is huge. I mean huge. Like there's so much floor space. So it'll be interesting to see what we can find in here. Let's take a look around, see if there's something. I see a sign that says antiques, so maybe over there we'll see some stuff. Caden found this cool donkey with a cart, and for $8 that's pretty good. One of the things I really loved about this booth was not the salt and pepper shakers sitting on this table here, although they're really cool looking. Look at these, they're birds. But the candles behind them look like glass, and I think that's so pretty. They had a lot of seasonal stuff as well, like these gnome or trolls or leprechauns. I'm not sure what they are, but they all look alike.
He's an angry elf.
Also, I saw that droopy dog again, except this one was a little different looking. It looked very similar to the other droopy dogs we saw, except the other ones were all yellow and this one had some color to it. As someone who's interested in typography, I really do love looking at the typefaces on all the old packaging from back in the day. If you look at it closely, you can see a lot of these were hand-drawn. Oh, and look, a Watkins product. I was watching Thrift School and he was talking about how looking through thrift stores he looks for a lot of like cake pans and vintage ones, and apparently they sell for a lot, so keep your eyes peeled when you're out thrifting. And also check out Thrift School, he's really cool. I always see a ton of decanters when I'm out thrifting, and I don't know which ones are the valuable ones, but I do know there are some that are worth a lot and there's some that are worth absolutely nothing. It's a risk, and I kind of just avoid decanters unless it's like a subject that I like. My friend Kat called me over to show me these really cute animal purses they had. They had a fox one, they had some other ones like this cute hippo. I love this hippo. Look at his little teeth. And this otter with a baby. This little area of the booths had things like E.T. and Beanie Babies and a lot of board games. One that stuck out to me though was this hand-to-hand wombat. I love the play on words, and actually it's made by the same people who made Exploding Kittens. Someone accidentally left their coffee out there. Hope they find it. This is actually a Marie Osmond doll, which oddly my sister met her at a doll convention, but I guess she does, so there you go. These M&Ms for Easter were a bit weird because they all had the same face, and the M&Ms, if you look closely, don't have the same face. Ooh, doggy soap dispenser. What would a trip to the thrift store be without,
oh yeah,
the Kool-Aid Man? These Kool-Aid Man banks actually go for about $35 on eBay right now, so it might be worth picking up. Oh, I found the first thing I'm getting. This is going to be a bloomin' onion maker, or a blossoming onion, I guess. I don't know. I guess you can't use it. Trademark. This display of rocks up front has one of my favorites, the Desert Rose Selenite. I love it. It's a moonstone, but it's kind of like wrinkly and weird. It kind of looks like bones a little bit. Let me see if I can get a good focus on that. It's kind of hard to get the camera there. There we go. It's called Desert Rose Selenite, and I love it. So if I see it out, I might get it next time. And if you're thinking of shoplifting, they just want to remind you Jesus is watching. Don't do it. It's bad. Live, laugh, poop. A motto we can all live by. I know it looks like we've seen a lot, but we've only gotten the front corner of the store covered. There's still an entire store ahead of us. If you collect dolls, this might be a place you want to check out because they did have some Raggedy Anns, and then they also had a bunch of dolls that looked like they were professionally made by some sort of brand or company, so worth checking those out. And then the Cesare grandparent plates from 1980s. I didn't know this was a thing until I looked it up when I got home, but they're about $60 for a set of 6, and they only have 3 of them in the store. So yeah, I don't know why anyone would get those for their grandparents. They're only for a year, and I guess they're commemorative plates. And then they become junk in a thrift store. Is this supposed to be a bust of JFK? I can't really tell. Someone let me know in the comments. There's a little sign on this shelf. It says that 50% of all the sales go to local community nonprofits. So that's a really cool way to help the community and find some cool stuff in your community. There's a tin here that says reserved for the cat. I'm hoping they don't mean they're putting the cat in there. If you're a fan of vintage clothes, they also have tons of racks filled with vintage clothes that you can look through, and pretty affordable pricing as well. You can find some neat stuff in there. Okay, does anyone else get the irresistible urge to lick a salt lamp every time they see one? Or is it just me? Thrifty Pickins is great if you're first moving into a house or apartment and need some new plates and sets. They have a whole bunch there. One of the only touring Broadway shows I walked out of was Blast. I could not stand it. I did not like the show. I was bored out of my mind. I left during that show. And then also a childhood musician that I used to play all the time was Yanni. I used to use him for magic show music, and my dad introduced me to him because he had a bunch of Yanni cassette tapes. Good news for crocheters or artistic people. They have all sorts of craft goods that are spread out throughout the store. So you might be able to find some fabrics or something for sewing. I did spot something at the end of this aisle that I do want to take a closer look at though. Here we have Sassy Jesus, and I'm gonna paint him to look like a drag queen. I think that'll be fun. A little bit of blasphemous art coming home with me. Those lips are fiery red. Work it, Jesus. I also like that they had some vintage stuff as well, like these typewriters. And honestly, the prices go down over time. So the longer it's in the store, the lower the price goes. In fact, if it's still here by May, it's going to be $7.50 for a vintage typewriter. That's pretty crazy. And this is not a typewriter. I had to look at it. It's an adding machine. Maybe the precursor to a calculator, I guess. And if you have little ones, they have things like cribs and strollers and all sorts of things, but it's constantly changing what they have in store because they're constantly getting new things. This is kind of like a Goodwill, but a little bit higher end stuff. Although the prices are really fair. I was constantly getting distracted by all the cool shiny things in the store. I almost didn't notice these awesome steampunk heels. And I told Caden to try it on because it almost looked like it could have been his size, but they weren't quite his size. They're a little too big for him, too small for me, but they looked really cool. And I hope someone gets them and makes a really neat steampunk outfit out of these. I always like to look by the counters over by where the register is to see if there's any cool stuff, and this time it didn't disappoint. There was a circus magazine and program. I didn't really want to grab it though. I didn't have too much money on me this time around. I'll have to bring some with me next time and see if it's still there. There's something for all ages here. In fact, there was some books as well. If you're into books, 7 Deadly Sins. I love a good pun. A Midsummer's Night Scheme. And a Lion King on Broadway hat, and I had to double check, make sure that I was right, and it is correct. It is a Disney Presents Lion King on Broadway. So yeah, they had Lion King Broadway hats, so you never know what you'll find here. Speaking of Disney, they also had Mrs. Potts and Chip, although his name should be Cup because a chip is what's missing from him. And I did grab a few things from this trip, but I did want to show you these big checks they had out front made out to all the charities that they've donated to over time. But it was time for me to grab some food, and Kat and Caden and I were all hungry, so we stopped in to grab a sandwich. And also there was this great window seat that was right by the drive-thru, so I could make faces at all the people passing the drive-thru. After lunch, it was time to head over to Goodwill to see what they had today. In our last video, we went to Goodwill, and this time we're gonna go back and see if anything new has arrived. I like this statue thing, but it wasn't quite what I was looking for. This looks like Ditto, my old bird. So cute. A clown has been found though in the clown section. I always gotta check the doll section because sometimes there's clowns hidden in there, and I found 2 of them today, so score. Those are coming home with me. Now let's check over by the art section. I don't really see much over here. How about over here? No. Maybe further down the aisles here we can see some books. I'm not seeing much of anything. Not really seeing any Goosebumps either in here. I'm just gonna skim these real quick and see if I can find something that I'm looking for. Let's see here. Oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? I see R.L. Stine. Don't Feed the Vampire. Now this is not from the main series. This is called Give Yourself Goosebumps, which is like a secondary series that R.L. Stine did based off the Goosebumps series. But I am gonna take this anyway, add it to my collection, and slowly grow it. I see some classic Animorphs in there. I read a lot of Animorphs as a kid, but Goosebumps really sticks out to me. I'm going to keep looking for Goosebumps for now. Maybe one day I'll collect Animorphs, but Goosebumps has always been a thing. I did see a magic trick book though, and looking at it, it looks like one of the many reprints of magic books that come out over the ages. They all have the same tricks in them. I'm looking for something a little bit unique and different than that. Onto the media section, and coincidentally, actually, they had Blast on DVD. Remember, we were just talking about Blast. One thing you should always remember, and sometimes it feels like second nature to think of this, but remember to always check the DVD case and see if the disc is actually in there, because I've gone home with DVDs that weren't in there. Now tell me, is there something in here that you would grab that you see here that you think brings that feeling of nostalgia to you? I didn't really see anything that spoke to me in this collection here. They did have some box sets though, Arrested Development, and this Triceratops was really cute and fluffy. I also like to go through the electronics section, see if there's any gadgets that I need, but there really wasn't anything that I was looking for in this section, so I just kind of browsed through it. But if you need a printer or something like that, always check your local Goodwill. They sometimes have them, and they might even be able to plug it in for you, so definitely check out Goodwill. In the next aisle over is all the McDonald's toys, or the little small, really cheap toys that they have in this basket here. I was looking through it and they had some sealed product. One of the things that I was really interested in is this tiny IKEA bag, and then the other thing is this McDonald's toy. I'll show you it when I get home, but it's really cute. Goodwill's a great place to look, especially if you're moving into an apartment or house and you need a coffee maker or a Keurig or a Budweiser freezer or a waffle maker or a grill or a tea party set. I don't know what kind of parties you're hosting. We found a lot of great things today, but it's time to check out. And now I also want to show you what we got, because we got a few extra things like this cool jewelry case. Caden found this really neat window picture frame. It looks like a nice window with the little blinds and everything. That's going to be really cute to hang art in. Then we got this jewelry case because we needed a new thing to put our jewelry in that our cat couldn't get to. And then of course I got the Goosebumps book, the clown, the other clown, and of course the bloomin' onion, which I can't wait to make in my kitchen. I love blooming onions, or onion blossoms. I guess bloomin' onions are trademark. And then of course we got Lipstick Jesus. Caden found me this cheeky necklace, which I love, and this little mini IKEA bag keychain that I got for like 20 cents. It's so cute, and I'm just gonna attach it to my keys, or maybe just put it on my desk. Now you might be asking yourself, Willow, why would you get Edna Mode? She's not even a main character in Incredibles, and you know, this is a really cool Disney, I believe it's Disney Hollywood Studios, or maybe it's Disneyland Hollywood, I don't know. But it's like a 50th anniversary thing. But I love Edna Mode because she is kind of a caricature of Edith Head.
So we try to get a differentiation of costume in all of the actresses.
Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. I've got more stuff next week. I can't wait for you to see it. Please hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and also check out some of these videos on the screen here. I'll see you next week.